right, well, before we get too far into this video, I promised you guys that I would answer the pop quiz question from last video on the beginning of this video. So here I am, before I get too far into the delivery on this dump truck and what I'm doing next. I'll go ahead and answer that. And the answer to the question, first off, I appreciate everybody who commented. I didn't get as many comments as I thought I would, many answers as I thought I would on it, but I did get a few, and I appreciate those of you that answered. And the ones that did answer, you are all correct, sort of. You're all correct for weight versus securement device. 100% right. I think Justin Welsh, one of the subscribers on channels, he put it very good in the comments. If you get a chance, read the comments on my last video. You'll see what Justin put. He broke it down very good right there in the comment section on why it was that I was covered for what I was, or how I was covered on that load. So I appreciate it, Justin. Thanks for taking the time to type all that out. I know that took a minute or two, and I appreciate that. So, but he was absolutely right. He did a very good job of explaining why he was right. The reason I said sort of on that, I absolutely had the correct amount of securement for the weight that I was hauling. And when you're hauling heavy equipment like this, the rules are more about weight than the size of the unit. Now, if you're hauling and I'll put a picture up here in a second of Keith's load that we brought, the crane load that we brought back as an example, because I know it's in there. When you're hauling a load like that, where it's steel sheets, steel plates, beams, anything long, railroad ties, anything like that, and it takes up the whole length of the trailer on a flatbed or a step deck or whatever, there is a dimension requirement for securement as well. Weight no longer comes into play. It could be 3,000 pounds. You could have one piece of pipe that's 3,000 pounds, but it's 40 foot long, and you're still going to have to put way more securement than the weight requires on it. The reason that is, and I'm sure most of you guys know, but the DOT requirement is that you put 2 securement devices. If you have a load like that where it's one long continuous load, or it's the whole length of your trailer, you have to put 2 securement devices within the first 8 feet. I think it's 8 feet. It might be 6 feet. I don't know exactly what that rule is, but you have to put 2 securement devices within the first, we'll say 6 feet of the load, and then from there, you have to have a securement device for every 8 feet. So, man, is it 10 or 8? Somebody comment down below, and I don't remember because I don't haul that stuff much anymore, and it's been a long time since I did. But it's either 8 or 10 feet. You have to have one securement device for every so many feet. So if you have a 40-foot piece of pipe on, you got to put 2 securement devices in the first 6 feet. Then you got to put another one every 10 feet after that. Within every 10 feet after that. So you're going to end up with probably 5 straps on what could potentially be a 3,000 pound load. But that's what DOT requires. Every so many feet you got to have securement. Now, that being said, that machine that I had on, the 735, it was longer than what my securement devices. There was more than a 10-foot gap between my securement devices on each one. However, because it is heavy equipment, there's really no way to do that every 10 feet securement. So they don't, the DOT does not, they pay more attention, with heavy equipment, they pay more attention to the weight versus the chains that you have, rather than the length of the unit and whether you're covered that way. So everybody was right, but also kind of wrong. So in my line of work and what I haul, being most of the time I'm hauling heavy equipment or something of that nature, we don't worry so much about those length requirements. But it is a factor, and I suppose if you got a DOT that didn't understand that, or didn't have the same thoughts on as most of the DOT officers, where, you know, it's heavy equipment, they kind of leave you alone about the length rule. I suppose they probably could write you a violation for it. I don't know. It's never happened to me. I've never heard it happen to anybody else, so I don't know if they would or not. But they potentially could, I suppose, if you don't have the securement every 10 feet. I don't know that most heavy equipment, pieces of heavy equipment, there's no real way to do that. So It is, you know, there is always the secured to shipper specification rule. I use that a lot. I put it on my bills a lot. If there's specific ways the shipper wants us to secure something, then I'll write on the bills secured to shipper specifications, and it's not going to take the liability off of me, and I'm still going to get a violation for it, but I don't know, I guess it makes me feel better, and there's at least a leg to stand on. If you decide to fight that violation, you have something to go back on. So there is always that. But so I appreciate everybody making comments. There's your answer on the pop quiz question, and I hope everybody enjoys this video. And here's what we got for my delivery. Welcome back, everybody. You're gonna see in this video, you saw a little short clip there, and you're gonna see in the video the delivery of the A35 or 735 articulating truck chassis that we delivered, the cat that we delivered down in Union City, Tennessee is where that delivered to. I said in the beginning of that clip that I'll explain how I got there, and this was a little bit tricky. The permit route that I had was I originally permitted myself out of Baltimore down to Tennessee through cross 70 to 68 down to 79 West Virginia, down to 64, cross 64 through Kentucky. The problem with that was that in West Virginia there's two different detours in West Virginia, and after looking at those detours, it turned out that those two detours were going to be, they were going to add up to about 5 hours worth of travel. So I have an annual Virginia permit. So I told my permit girl, I said, why don't we adjust these permits a little bit, get a revision on them, and we'll go down, we'll come across 70, go down 81 into Virginia, come across to 81, right into Tennessee and roll through. And the Tennessee permit office was extremely far behind on their scale. So I ended up yesterday. I ended up parked pretty early, about 2 o'clock or so, waiting on a permit for Tennessee, and unfortunately, it didn't show up till pretty late. So I ended up just deciding that it was better just to take my 10 hours off there and then get up super early. Tennessee will let you run at night, as if you watch my videos, you know that Tennessee is one of the states that will allow you to travel at night. So you just gotta do your lighting and your flag correctly. And so I decided that was the best course of action. I ended up getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, putting my signs and flags on and rolling. Worked out kind of better anyways. I kind of like traveling at night, less traffic, less headaches. Scales aren't open usually, so you don't run into that. Not that Tennessee scales are, there's no fear there, you know, as long as you're doing the right thing, they don't bother you too much. But it's just the point of you have to go into every scale as an overdimensional load, and then with the scale, the Tennessee scales, you don't even cross. They have a sign right at the beginning of this that you go around back, you park, and bring your permit inside. So you throw that all together, you're spending a half hour or so just showing them your permit and getting on about your business. So it works out better running at night when the scales aren't open, and you can just bypass and you don't slow down. You don't lose that half hour. You know, those two scales that were there, I would have lost an hour just showing them my permit. So I kind of enjoy running at night anyway. So I got up at 2 in the morning. I ran. I had a load out of Dyersburg, Tennessee, going up to Pennsylvania booked yesterday. And during the whole permit debacle yesterday, the agent that I got the load from called me and said, "Hey, they just put your load on hold. That was supposed to load today." I said, "Okay." She's like, "I'm supposed to know in the morning, a little better, like when it'll be ready. I'll call you in the morning." I said, "All right, that's fine. Like I'm waiting on a permit right now anyways, and I don't know what's going on here. So if they need some extra time to get that load ready, I may be able to provide them with that extra time." So turns out that I got empty. She called me before I got empty, and she said, "Well, it looks like it's not going to be ready till tomorrow morning." And So I got empty. I looked at the mileage, I looked at the time. And it's not the best situation. As everybody knows, I'm home every weekend. I like to be home on the weekends. And I don't. This one's pushing me kind of hard to be able to make it home Friday night. We'll see if it happens or not. We'll see what the story is. But I'm currently in Dyersburg, Tennessee, waiting on. I'm going to load tomorrow morning. I got 6 a.m. appointment time. So hopefully I'll get in there. I'll get loaded real fast and get out of there. I can run all day tomorrow. Hopefully get real close to my delivery and get that delivered Friday morning first thing and be able to go somewhere. I'm looking at a load out of the port. Another articulated dump truck. This one's a 745. Pretty heavy, pushing the limits for what I can do. Nice load. I'm looking at it right now. I kind of want to make sure this load gets on my trailer in the morning before I commit to that one, just in case something happens and I don't want to have to give a load back. So hopefully that'll happen. Be able to make it all work. But that's how I ended up where I was this morning. Worked out kind of good in a way. I went over and talked to my customer here, or the pickup here, and I said, you know, I'm here. If that happens, get ready. Give me a call and I'll come get it. And there's a truck stop one exit away, so here I am. I'm at a Love's in Dyersburg, Tennessee right now. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing, and that's how that all worked out. Sometimes these things happen. You know, the permit office said they were short-staffed and way behind on their permit, so it is what it is. Made it work anyways, and got delivered, and hopefully tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., I'll get over here and get loaded and be on my way. This is a legal load, nothing oversized about it. Real light, 14,000 pounds, so should be, hopefully it'll be good load, fast, and you know, the hills won't slow me down. I got to worry about that. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and we will talk to you all soon. All right. On site at our delivery in Union City, Tennessee. This has been a little bit of a fight getting here, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. I'm going to get this thing kicked off the trailer, get it parked where it needs to be, and it looks like I'm going to be sitting for the rest of the day, hopefully loading this afternoon, but looks like I'll be not very busy today, so I'll go ahead and talk about how I ended up here and what the what the story is. So all right, well, we'll go get this thing kicked off the trailer and talk to you all soon.
Raised a lot of hell back in my younger days. They were wild days. Yeah, wild days. Life was just one big joke. My head fogged up from the beer and the smoke. In my wild days, couldn't see through the haze. We had a lot of good times and some bad times too. Like when I lost my best friend Tommy. Lord, I wish he'd have made it through wild days. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You know, never seemed quite the same without him there with us in our wild days. I guess you never know just when your time might come. You know, we didn't think about it much back then when we were young and in our wild days. 'Cause when we were young, we didn't have a care. Our parents said we didn't have a prayer. We was hanging out, living it up, raising all kinds of hell, pushing our love. We was shooting stars out one by one till the early morning light dawned on a wild day. Yeah, another wild day. Wild day, wild day. like a dream. I was hellbound, just turned 18 in my wild days. Racing my car on the Mobac roads. I had Leonard Skinner on my radio in my wild days. Getting sideways. My mama always told me, son, I'll be praying for you. And I know somehow the man upstairs is gonna get you through your wild days. And he sure did. 'Cause when we were young, we didn't have a care. Our parents said we didn't have a prayer. We was hanging out, living it up, raising all kinds of hell. Pushing our love, and we was shooting stars out of one by one till the early morning light dawned on a wild day. Yeah, another wild day. When we were young, we didn't have a care. Our parents said we didn't have a prayer. We was hanging out, living it up, raising all kinds of hell and pushing our love. And we was shooting stars out one by one till the early morning light dawned on a wild day. Yeah, another wild day. Wild day. Raised a lot of hell back in my younger days. They were wild days.